Namaskar. Am I audible? All right. So लैक्स के ये कनेक्ट विद लैक्स के तीसरे सेशन में आप सभी का स्वागत है। आशा है कि आपके परिवार में सब कुशल मंगल होगा। तो as you know, we talk about the features that we have in lacks and how to use them and why they make sense in terms of the philosophical construct that is underpinning those indicators and strategies and concepts. So today again, this is our monthly session, 15th of each month, evening 8:30. That is our usual time, and that is when we do the session unless something has changed, which so far has not. And this is third session. And if you are joining for the first time, we'll request you to watch the first two sessions so that you get better understanding about what we have already discussed. And if you've already done that, then great. Thank you for taking out time on a Sunday. Uh, so let's start. So this time we have a brief slide, and I'll talk based on what we already have on the slide. And if you have any question, feel free to ask in comment. Okay, so you can anytime comment, and I'll take them when they are appropriate. And if you have anything which you want to ask by really asking, not writing, you have to wait for the end of the presentation. Okay. So today we'll talk about noose indicator first. So what is noose? So noose is basically a relative strength indicator. Okay. So it measures the RS. So people talk about RS. Some people don't talk about RS. Some people talk about RS, but in negative sense. So there are all kinds of opinion about the RS in the market. Some people think it is just looking at what the stock has done today. So for example, Friday was a brutal day, right? Market was sharply down. A lot of stocks were basically bleeding left, right, and center. So if you found some stock which was not bleeding, let's say it was mild green, let's say 1% up. So a lot of people who don't understand what exactly RS is, they'll wake up and then they'll say, you know what, this stock is actually good. It is relatively strong, showing RS. So we should buy it. It is wrong. So for example, let's say there is a class of 30 student, okay, and there is a half yearly exam going on, okay, and then you have the paper of drawing, okay. Drawing is basically art, right? There you have to make some shapes and put colors and all that, right? So the point is that 30 students, those 30 students were supposed to give that exam, but all those kids were actually coming via school bus, right? And then something happened to that bus, and 29 kids could not appear for the exam. They simply could not appear. Why? Because the school bus that was carrying those kids had some malfunction, okay? And since they were coming from far, they could not get on time to the school, so they could not appear for the exam. 29 kids simply missed the exam, okay? The one kid who was local, like, he was coming from local area, so he came and he appeared for the exam, okay? Otherwise, that local kid is not really bright, he doesn't do anything. But in that art exam, drawing exam, he scored some marks, like let's say 45 out of 100. Other 29, they were simply absent. So they scored 0 out of 100. So they failed the exam. That drawing exam, that arts exam, 29 kids actually failed. One kid actually passed 45 marks, right? Now, will you just take that one data point and start screaming, you know what, this kid is the best out of 30? You'll not, right? You understand, first of all, it was art exam, not overall exam. Second, it was only 6 monthly exam, right? Half yearly exam, right? It was not complete exam, right? And it is just one paper, okay? And even in that paper, other kids simply did not appear. They could not appear, right? So taking out only one data point and screaming something is relatively strong or weak is actually not really great idea. So I hope you understand why we need something better. That is where news comes in. News basically measures rightly the relative strength of any security, okay? So how it works is basically, you see, what is going up is okay, but what is going up more than other things is actually better, right? So you need a signal that is based on logic, that can have some objective scoring system, that can have something that can complement other areas of your strategy. That is what news provides. So we'll go deeper one by one after we have discussed the basics. So news basically can help you in what? It can help you in selecting a stock or security or ETF or anything. It can help you when to add more. It can help you in when to cut more. It can help you in deciding something should enter your watch list. It can help you in deciding what should get out of watch list. So watch list my entry exit, portfolio entry exit, portfolio partial entry partial exit, okay, and portfolio complete exit complete entry. All these questions can be reliably dealt with using news. If you don't use news, you are missing on big area of expertise that is not available with most other experts or platforms. That is what LAX brings to you. So what all we can do using news we have discussed, but how do we do that? We do that based on scanners and market pulse data. Okay. And then finally, we'll talk about accumulation distribution, which is what we call distract. Okay. So news, we have already discussed how it signals, relative strength, momentum, right? So it is called a relative strength momentum indicator. Okay. So core idea is what? Money flows to outperformance. Something outperforms, more money comes in because see, you might have done a great analysis of, macro politics, economics, what the executive is thinking, and how business professionals are thinking, and how cheap the market is or stock is, and what great financial and business plans they have. You might have discussed everything, researched everything, written everything. You might have met the top management 10 times in last 10 days. But if what you have researched is still falling, probably you will not have the guts to buy it. So your research is complete, you have done everything, but you don't know how to look at chart. You don't know anything. But surely you know if something is today up by 2% or down by 2%, right? For that, you don't need knowledge of charts or technicals or price action or anything. Nothing complicated, right? But you are seeing the screen. Last 10 days, you have been with promoter, but what you have seen is 10 days stock has been falling. Will you put money there? Probably not, right? Few people can because they are very gutsy and they have that contrarian streak in them. So they are freaky, contrarian kind of personalities. They can put money, but most people will not. Most people will still wait for that green day. That green day is what? It will change the character, right? From falling to not falling, to start rising, right? But even better signal is outperformance, which most people will not see, cannot see simply because they lack the expertise. They don't understand what is RS, price action, chart, and all that, right? But everybody understand whether something is up today or down today, right? So that is why once you see that something is really great in terms of value, the future plan, the growth prospect, and everything is aligned, okay? But the moment it starts rising, then it starts to attract the money, smart money. Okay. So that is why money flows to outperformance. Money does not flow to underperformance. It does not. It flows to outperformance. Only the initial contrarian money comes to underperforming stuff. Even there, the allocation is very balanced so that they are not caught in the wrong side of things. Okay. So managers with better returns attract more AUM. You have seen it. For example, you might have seen 6, 7, 8 years ago. So can you guys type what is the most popular mutual fund? And if you are investing in mutual fund, which mutual fund you have invested in? What is the most popular mutual fund? Just type the name. Anybody? Nobody knows what is the most popular mutual fund right now in India?
Parag Parikh.
Parag Parikh, right? So if you look at Parag Parikh, they have the AUM, which is what? North of 1 lakh crore, right? More than 1 lakh crore AUM they have, right? But if you look at the same Parag Parikh, they were same Parag Parikh, right? Same style, same guys running, similar kind of stuff they were doing, right? If you go back to 2018, 19, you know how much AUM they had? Anybody has any clue like what kind of AUM they had in 2018? So that is basically 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago. Anybody who can guess it? Some wild guess. It was less than 2000 crore. Did you hear me? The Parag Parikh mutual fund had AUM which was less than 2000 crore. 2018 is I am talking about. So imagine this. So what has led to such a huge AUM? It is because of outperformance, right? But outperformance in what time period? Last 18 months. Why? Because 18 months market has been bad. Before that, they had allocation to US market, which was helping them. Then came the bear market in India, and that has helped them further. The limited point is the money chased the outperformance. It was not because of their parak parik. It was not because of XYZ. It was simply because the fund was doing better than others. That's it. Cult. Cult is created in the market by outperformance. Once outperformance is gone, the cult actually dies down with that. Okay. So you take another example. अभी की बात नहीं हो रही है. So I'm talking, let's say 3 years ago or 4 years ago or 5 years ago. Okay, 3 to 5 years ago. What was the most popular PMS scheme in India? Most popular PMS 3 years ago, 5 years ago. Which one was the most popular PMS scheme in India? Nuama? No, no, no. Nuama was never that popular. In fact, they have changed, their identity and all that. So, like, it's much more difficult. I mean, when I say popular, the simple thing is something that people have been talking and someone who actually appears on TV and all that very frequently. Motilal Oswal, no. Motilal Oswal is bigger name for broker and he himself making so much money and then mutual fund. EMS not that big.
Marcellus.
Marcellus, right? Marcellus. You guys don't know Marcellus. So Marcellus has been the most popular PMS if you go 3, 5 years back, right? Why? Because 2018 is when the Marcellus started, okay? And that is when Indian market peaked. So after that, only large caps were doing well. In large caps, what will do well? Obviously, the kind of companies which were still growing and had good balance sheet, right? Because that crisis was 2018 crisis was balance sheet crisis, okay? So naturally, Marcellus PMS was doing really great. So it attracted funds, it attracted a lot of eyeballs, and you have to give it to him. Saurabh Mukherjee really knows his stuff, how to build a story and narrative. He did that. And result, extremely popular PMS scheme. They had fund, I don't know, maybe 12,000 crore, 50,000 crore or something like that. But if you just look at now, the same guy, talking same thing, doing same stuff. In fact, now he has more schemes than earlier. Okay. He has a small cap, financial names, American fund, everything he has. Okay. Still, there is AUM outflow. People are taking money out of their schemes. Why? Because they have seen the last 5 years they have underperformed. So underperformance has led to the, you know, not so much hype of Marcellus dying down. Okay, whatever hype was there, it is going down. Okay, you take another example. So there is very big name which you guys most probably have never heard of because they don't have mutual funds and all. Probably they will launch now. Earlier they used to have only PMS and all that. The company name is Ask. Have you heard Ask PMS, Ask AIF, Ask Fund Management Company, Ask AMC? Anybody? Yes, no. Just type it if anybody have heard Ask. No. So Ask is actually promoted by Bharat Shah. Okay, Bharat Shah is sort of dawn of value investing in India. He actually worked with the first big bull of India, Harshad Mehta. Okay, and Bharat Shah has written a book which has gone out of print and you can't find it very easily, but PDF can be found. That's a good book. Those guys are actually original what Marcellus guys talk later. Okay, Ask PMS has seen big fund outflow simply because they have underperformed. Okay, so the limited point is managers with better returns attract more AVM simply because outperformance is what makes people take notice and put more money. Okay, so underlying principle of relative strength that we have built in news is that something that is doing good is likely to do better. Okay, so and it does that by comparing itself with the broader market. Okay, so normally people look at stock is going up, good. Okay, we look at if a stock is beating the market or not. Normally people look at absolute price movement. The stock has done 15% CAGR. What we look at is if Nifty 500 is still itself has done 15% CAGR, we are not interested in a 15% CAGR stock. We need 25-30%, right? People are just enamored by just looking at particular stock. Okay, ITC, IEX, India Mart. By the way, none of these are recommendation. Okay, we are not trying to recommend you a stock. We are not authorized for that. We don't do that, and you should never put money just because somebody has said something or written something or you have heard some name somewhere. Okay, it is hard-earned money. Please research, consult somebody who is actually registered with SEBI because they have all the brains in the world, and you then only put money. Otherwise, you do your own research, which is the best thing. Okay. So don't look at a stock in isolation. Right now, people are talking about ITC. Okay. Like never fall for only stock, never fall for absolute price movement, never fall for whether stock is going up or not. Look at stock in the overall context. Look at the stock's performance against Nifty 500. Look at whether the stock is able to beat the market or not. That is the underlying philosophy of news. Okay. So the parameters are Nifty 500, 55 candles, daily, weekly, monthly, 3 time frames. Okay, green, that means the stock is outperforming Nifty 500, which means the average is actually below the signal line. Okay, so signal is above the uh, uh, average. Okay, red means it is underperforming, which means the signal is below the average line. Okay, so news, if green in daily, it is good thing. But if it is green in weekly, it is better thing. If it is green in monthly, it is the best thing. Especially if the green thing has come, let's say in last 1, 2, 3 candles. Okay. Why? It means the outperformance phase has come, but it has just started. So what I'm saying is longer the outperformance and then, sorry, longer the underperformance and then the outperformance starts and it is bigger time frame, then it is the best thing. Okay, because the bulk of the outperformance is likely ahead of you. Okay, but something that has outperformed for let's say 15-16 years. Okay, and today you are looking at it and you are like, sir, monthly news is green, can I buy it? I will not say that you should buy it or sell it because that is not my job, but I'll say probably you should look at something else, right? Something that has outperformed for 15 years. You are trying to buy it now. Probably you are late, right? Maybe you are not late, but still the outperformance, the margin will be very small, right? So you need to find the fresh horses, okay? You need to find the fresh horses. And those fresh horses, if they're proven their metal in monthly, it is best. If they're proven their metal in weekly, it is nice, okay? But don't just look at daily and start, being bullish, all right? So scoring weights we have accordingly given. So monthly is 3 points, weekly is 2 points, daily is 1 point. If it is green, you give it +3. If it is red, you give it -3. If it is monthly, weekly +2, -2, daily +1, -1. So obviously, if a stock is green in all 3 time frames, how much maximum score it will be? +3, +2, +1, 6, right? If a stock is red in all 3 time frames, how much minimum score it will have? The worst case scenario, -6, -3, -2, -1, right? And naturally, it is very intuitive and objective way to look at the stocks, right? Because there is no confusion. You can't have, he said, she said, her opinion is more important than his opinion and all that. No, it is objective, factual, data based concept. Okay, there is no confusion, right? So, for example, what could be the best case scenario? Green, green, green. है ना? Monthly, weekly, daily, all green. Worst case scenario, all red, 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 right? In between you have 0, then you have -2, -4 this side +4 +2, right? The point is, if the score is 3 or more, it is fine. So if you're scanning for the stocks, what kind of a stock universe you should look at? Which has the news score that is 3 at least. Okay, still that does not mean anything that a news score 3 you will buy it. No, that is the starting point. The funnel has the first filter which says news score should be 3 or more. Okay, so +3 and above, it's good. -2 to +2, it is sideways zone. Na? You can't really make out really whether it will go up or down, right? -3 and below, slightly, you are landing in deep trouble. And if you're looking at futures stock, likely they are going to get beaten, right? So practical tips for screening, news should be 3 or more. Okay. Best entry is when daily is turning green while weekly and monthly are already green. Hear me carefully. Monthly, weekly already green, daily turning green. This is the best. Why? Because you are buying a strong stock in a pullback when things are again turning good. It is like grandfather was great, father is also great, and grandson had, some party time and did all sorts of bad things, and now he's also turning good. You're likely to be betting on a great business, right? So grandfather, father, son strategy. Okay. So grandfather, father both great, son is turning to be good. That is what you are buying. That is monthly, weekly green, and daily turning green. Okay. Exit is when monthly turns red. Don't ask too many questions. Otherwise, you are going to land in trouble. Weekly turns red. Positional guys have to be careful, and the long-term guys have to monitor more carefully, study more deeply whether moat has, hurt, whether long-term growth trajectory has changed, whether they have entered some sort of, businesses which are not really great, or whether management itself has changed or something has changed. Okay, so you have to monitor for other things. Okay, and if -3 or below score, then it is avoid stock. Even if it is undervalued, don't look at it. Why? Because if something has to become multi-bagger, the first stage is news has to turn green. It is possible that the stock might double or triple or 50% rally, then only news will turn green. But that cost is for confirmation. You have to pay for some confirmation. Imagine this. A lot of you might say that, you know what, if I could put money on any cricketer, I would put money on Sachin when he was 14 years old, right? It's a great idea. Absolutely, right? But imagine this. How would you know that you have to put only money on a 14-year-old who is Sachin from Mumbai? It could have been very well Vinod Kambli, right? Initially, you would have felt good also because Vinod Kambli was doing better than Sachin. But guess what? How destiny turned out later on, right? And plus, you can't simply go back in the history and use your hindsight bias and say, you know what, I'll pick Sachin. How do you know Sachin will be Sachin? You don't, right? There were so many 14-year-old kids in India. How skillful and lucky you have to be picking only Sachin. So the cost was some confirmation, right? Even if you put money on Sachin at 16-year age, 17-year age, 18-year age, you still did really great. The cost was that little bit of confirmation, right? Now let's move from Sachin. You might say that he was exceptional. Only one Sachin came. Later, maybe we'll not get any Sachin. So forget about Sachin. Okay, fine. Let's move to somebody who is not Sachin. Let's say Dravid, Ganguly, right? So many other players, right? So now you might say that, I can pick such Ganguly, Dravid when they were playing Ranji. Now there is a problem. They were playing Ranji, but there were so many other who were playing Ranji. They were equally talented, equally hardworking, young, very athletic, very energetic, very fit. Guess what? Most of those cohort of players did not even play for India. How do you pick Dravid or Ganguly from there? You can't. So you have to wait, right? Let them debut for India. That cost is confirmation, right? You'll be buying little higher, but you'll be sure that you're not buying 8 duds, right? Because at Ranji level, you'll be putting money on 10 players, 2 will turn out Dravid and Ganguly, 8 will fail. But if you wait, you'll be buying little higher, but you'll be buying Dravid and Ganguly, right? Even though you might buy somebody else also who debuted for India but did not do well after that. So that is also possible, but the hit ratio will become much better, right? So that is the broad idea behind, waiting for news to turn green, not simply look at undervalued. You have done all the research in the world. But if a stock is truly great, why can't you wait for it to turn technically good? If not news, at least BNF, right? If something is so great, how is it possible that only you are able to see that it is great? No one else in the world is able to see it is great. No one else who has money really to move the stock is able to see that it is great. How is it possible? Like, do you really think that you are the smartest chap in the world? You are the person who has the best information, best insight, best tools. Nobody else has. How is it possible? Like, can you really believe that you are that skillful or that lucky that Ma Lakshmi herself has come in your dream and told you, beta, just buy this stock? No, right? Then what do? You do the research, do the hard work, note down everything, create reports, but set alert. Set alert for BNF, set alert for SBD, set alert for news. When something turns good, set alerts for RSS code. Something turns good, then you start thinking about it. Then you start allocating a small. Then as things give you more evidence, like 16 years Sachin, you could bet some money, but not more money, right? At 17 years of age, when he had proven a little more, you could put more money. 18 years of age, more money. 20 years of age, more money, right? That way. The same goes for a stock. Nobody could have seen the future of Sachin, including Sachin himself. Nobody can see the future of a stock, including the management of the company. Just take it from me. There is nobody on this earth who can see the future of a stock. Don't believe anybody. Everybody is talking some insight, some research, some analytical thing, and some, hoopla, a story, hype. Okay. Your job is to cut the fluff and focus on the, substantive issue and go with the evidence, the confirmation. All right. Acha, anybody who has problem with language, Hindi, English, and all that, feel free to say that. So we have four scanners for news, right? In lakhs, four scanners and three time frames. Okay, three time frames you have: daily, weekly, and monthly, right? And four scanners are news red, news green, news positive crossover, meaning red to green, news negative crossover, meaning green to red. So 4 into 3, 12 combinations, right? And by the way, today is Ekadashi, so I am fast. Hopefully, some of you are also fast, right? And I am fasting without water, as you know already, right? And it started yesterday evening. It will end tomorrow morning. So by then it will be, I don't know, 35, 40 hours, right? So, like, it's basically body reset. Okay. So too many people talk about protein, like, so there are too many protein eats out there, right? In India, Twitter, everybody bashing this is bad, that is bad, don't eat, and all that, right? They're always telling you what to eat. I'm telling you what I'm telling you not to eat. Okay. Forget what to eat. I'm telling you, just don't eat. Give it some time. Give it the reset. Give it the time to recover. Okay. And it will do autophagy, right? It will eat your body's, bad protein, bad cells, whatever is stored, right? Because you are eating excess of what your body needs. So when you are not eating, it still has to run the machines, right? So it needs energy. What will it do? It will eat the junk that you are already stored in the body. Okay, it's a very nice way to rejuvenate, reset the body. Okay, but it is not about the body. Okay, so it's very ironic. So meditation is something that is in the mind. Okay, but meditation uh, is something in the mind. So meditation does to mind what fast does to body, right? So although it is not really clean boundary, both are, overlapping, so they affect mind body, both ways. But fasting is really great. I hope some of you will start. If you are already doing it, you can, message that you already do it. And how long you have been doing it? I've been doing it for more than 6 years. More than 6 years, actually, 6.5. Like, this is seventh year. All right. So positive crossover means fresh momentum is building. Okay. And when negative crossover, which means fresh momentum on the downside is building. Okay. Green news, it means already it is green. It is possible it might turn red again. It might continue to be green. You have to, study other things. Okay. And if it is already red, it means the stock is lagging big time, and it is possibly keep lagging unless it turns green. Okay. So erode. Like, I don't know, his name must be something else, but it is his, Gmail name. 2018, as the first time when he started Ekadasi fast. Great. So news on Rocket Pulse, okay? Praveen, okay, all right. Although I knew who you are, is it that I did not take your name? I knew you are Praveen. So Praveen ji is a part of, LAX Telegram for a long time, right? Is the same person. All right. So you have the news on Market Pulse. This is Market Pulse. Okay. So it tells you the health of the market. Okay. So if you are seeing more stocks are coming up, in monthly green, weekly green, daily green, more stocks are turning green than turning red. It means breath is improving. It means pulse is improving. It means body is recovering. Even though headline index is falling, but if more stocks are turning green, it means broader market is starting to outperform the benchmark, which means a good times are ahead. Okay. So that is how you are supposed to read. Okay. So count of stocks where news just turned green across daily, weekly, monthly. Rising numbers means expanding market momentum. Okay. Negative crossovers, if it is expanding, then it means negative momentum is actually expanding, positive momentum is fading. Okay. Green count, if they are rising, it means broadly the market is turning to be good. Okay. It is turning to be good. So we were not there in COVID. Right after COVID, right, lax was not there. But if it was there, it would have told you that, market is expanding, it is getting better. Don't look at lockdown and, business are not running, sales is zero, profit is negative, so don't buy, stocks. That would have been very stupid decision, but you could have avoided simply if you had the objective way of looking at market pulse, which is what we have built for you in lax. Okay. News distribution bar, if you see, it tells you how many are green, how many are red. Okay. But this tells you based on only daily. Okay. So 44% are green, 56% are red. So you can say that, there are a lot of stocks which are red, right? Okay. Now you might say that, this is green, understood. This is green, understood. This is green, understood. But why is this red? It is red because negative crossover. You say negative crossover, good. But monthly and daily, why they are green? Anybody who can explain why negative crossover numbers for daily and monthly are green? Anybody who can explain that? Try it. It does not cost you energy.
Yeah, probably monthly is all looking good. Daily it went bad and it's reversed, and weekly has still not reversed.
No, 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 no. That is not the right way. See, look at the numbers, okay? If you look at the weekly 114, so it is saying on that day, 114 stocks in weekly turned red, okay? Okay. And a day before, there were only 112 stocks which were red in weekly. I mean, crossover, okay? So there are two more stocks which have joined, right? So like 112 stocks turned red in weekly yesterday, but today they are 114, two more, which means it is further becoming bad. That is why it is red. Okay. But this one is green. This one is green simply because although there are still negative crossover in daily and monthly, but they are less than yesterday, right? Yesterday there were 15 more. Yesterday there were four more in monthly, right? Daily had 15 more. So now it is becoming better. You understand?
Mhm.
So, so similarly, this number, this card could also become red. Why? Let's say 279 turned green. Okay. From red to green, it is good. Positive crossword, 279. But what if yesterday they were, let's say, 379? So 100 less. It means it is turning great to not so great, right? So it will become red. So the underlying color is not because, that number, that parameter is positive or negative. Okay. Underlying this thing is red or green based on whether number has deteriorated further or improved. You understand? If something has improved, it will turn green. If something has become worse, then it will turn red, even though underlying itself, of course, in this case, in these three buckets and last three buckets, rising number is a good thing, right? Because we are talking green. But in these three buckets, what is good? Rising number. No.
Falling
In
number.
these three buckets, falling number is good. That is why these two fell, so they turned green. This one is still rose. That is why it turned red. Understood? Any question? If you guys have
So is
nothing,
there a way to see this as a trend in the form of a chart as well?
not right now, but we have detailed data. I can show you. Just give me 1 minute.
Because
So
that will give us a pulse of how things are trending, how it
correct.
was earlier, and
Let me
how it
just
is.
let me just do it. There are 3, 4 slides more. Okay, probably five, and then we'll move to the website. Okay, then we'll see the live data. Okay, I'll show you there are data points. So you'll see that. So then section two will talk about accumulation and distribution, which is what we call DISTAC, distribution and accumulation. Okay, we are trying to identify the institutional activity through volumes and delivery data. Okay, so what do we do? So first of all, we look at the stocks which have higher volume. What do I mean by higher volume? A stock that is trading at 1 rupee and another stock that is trading at 1 lakh rupee, which will have naturally higher volume? 1 rupee stock or 1 lakh rupee stock, which will have higher volume?
1 rupee stock.
1 rupee, right? So can I simply look at higher volume absolute number?
No,
No, that will be stupid, right? Then what do? I look at the average volume and then I see current volume. If current volume is higher than the average volume, then I'll say it is above a higher volume, right? But if it is lower than average volume, then I'll say it is low volume, right? Lower volume, right? Okay. So the first filter is the stocks that I have to be considered in this, this tax system. They have to have volume which is higher than average. That is the first criteria. Second thing, then I'll have to look at the delivery data. So if 40% or more delivery on higher volume, then it is accumulation. But higher volume, but 40% say come delivery data, then it is distribution. Although there are more conditions in distribution, but broadly this is what it is. Then in accumulation there are tiers, okay, zones. So 40 to 50 it is healthy accumulation, 50 to 60 it is robust accumulation, 60 to 80 strong accumulation, 80% plus dominant accumulation. Okay, so the point is highest conviction is dominant accumulation, 80% plus delivery data. Okay, institutions likely building positions aggressively deserves most attention for potential entry. Okay, strong accumulation, solid institutional interest, good candidates for a watchlist or further analysis. Robust accumulation, moderate signal, some accumulation but not high conviction, needs additional confirmation. Price action moves. Healthy accumulation, borderline, could go either way. Don't act on this alone. You have to wait for few more days and few other things to align, and then you can. But the rule is you are never going to buy or sell simply because there is distribution or accumulation. Because ultimately these are ancillary data points. What? Ancillary data points, right? So the main data point is what? The price. Okay. In our case, even the price itself is not the main data point. Price adjusted against the reference, the benchmark, the broad market is the main data point. What do we call the price adjusted against benchmark? What is the name for it? Let's see. Who is hearing carefully?
News.
News. So for us, the primary criteria is news. So whatever you look, distribution, accumulation, Iliad, GAN, whatever analysis you do, fundamental, meeting management, whatever you do, ultimately it has to transform into news. If news is not getting better, it is not green, then you'll have to hold your horses back for a while. Okay. If high volume, low delivery, possibly it is a distribution. But you have to look at few things more. Distribution. If it is a breakout of a well-defined resistance, then even though other conditions are fulfilled and delivery is less than 40%, but it will still not be distribution. So that is caveat number one. Caveat number two, you also have to look at number of trades. If number of trades have risen so much, okay, but overall delivery is going down and volumes are high, it means retail is buying, institutionals are offloading. Okay, so these two are things that you have to remember in distribution. Other thing is in accumulation, in delivery data, looking at accumulation at high volume, high delivery data, don't consider stocks which are compulsorily marked for delivery. Right? There are some stocks which can be bought only on delivery. You can't do intraday. You can't buy and sell on same day, right? In those stocks, naturally, Whatever the buying is happening based on delivery, right? You can't look at delivery data there, right? So you have to understand this nuance, okay? You can't be applying delivery concept looking at accumulation on a stock which is marked for compulsory delivery. Okay, don't do that. It especially happens in stocks which are 5% circuit or lower. There, exchanges and brokers don't allow you to do intraday. Okay, low activity, which means today's volume is less than average volume. उसका कोई मतलब नहीं. You just ignore it. Okay. So you start from dominant accumulation, you know, then you confirm that with news, and then you see if there is good structure, you can probably enter there, right? Distribution warnings you can use for as a one of the evidence for exit signal. Okay, not all the evidence. Distribution in and itself is not all the signal. Okay, it is one of the signals because it is possible that distribution has happened and the stock goes sideways or corrects some, and then again accumulation happens and it rallies again. So you will miss out, right? So that is why it is only one of the evidence. Okay, you have to combine this with price structure and volume scanners and nodes and RSS score. So it has to be holistic approach. जब देखो सब देखो, JDSD. Okay. So this distribution accumulation thing is really a strong concept, but you have to remember the caveats. Don't look at compulsorily delivery marked stocks. Don't look at stocks when they are breaking out, for because then they'll be giving out the signal of distribution, but it is not distribution. Okay. And if you look at our website, you'll see accumulation distribution has this kind of nice dashboard which has chart. Okay. And you'll find I have not talked about the stock has gone up or down. Okay. Going up or down is not important. In this stack concept, distribution and accumulation, what is important is whether volume is above average and whether delivery is 40% or higher. So for accumulation, higher volume compared to average and 40% plus delivery. Okay. Even though stock is 8% down, it is still what? What is it? Type. Likho. Volume above average, delivery, let's say 75%, stock 6% down, and stock is not part of compulsory delivery bucket. What is it? Accumulation, distribution, or low activity? Type. Let's see who has heard me carefully.
Accumulation.
It is accumulation, because accumulation definition does not have stock going up or down. In fact, most of the smart accumulation happens actually when a stock is down or range bound. Okay. Okay. So you have understood another concept, that accumulation will help you in figuring out when market is turning but it has not turned yet. Okay, right? Because ultimately what you need is the weaker guys, the retail guys, they will be selling in panic. The big guys will be accumulating it more, right? They'll put some big orders, right? That is how panicans get out and strong hands, smart money gets in, and then there is no more selling, and then sentiment improves, the buying comes in, and then stock explodes, right? So you have understood today very important key distinction, that accumulation is really a smart idea to catch the turns, right? So far you have already understood that our LAX system has everything, but it did not have this one thing properly, which was how to pick the turns, right? That this tax system actually helps you in picking the turns. Okay. So you see 80% plus, 60 to 80%, 50 to 60, 40 to 50, and then you have distribution, then you have a neutral. I mean, it is actually low activity. Okay. Then, labels have not changed. They'll change, in the future, they'll be corrected. We are still studying what has caused this, slump. We have not found what is the issue. Okay. And you see, this clearly tells you the green area has what? What has happened to green area recently? What has happened? Expanded, right? It means there is more accumulation, right? So green layers expanding, broad institutional buying across the market, bullish regime, right? Red layer expanding, distribution rising, broad selling or speculative activity, caution. use alongside breadth data. Okay, pulse ka data you have to use. Confirms market regime, high accumulation, high breadth, strong uptrend. Okay, high accumulation, high breadth. Actually, I'll say it is right, but most important decision for investor is lump sum points, right? And they come when there is extremely weak breadth, pulse data, but high accumulation. Okay, so we have already discussed, right, Hahakar indicator. Today again I'll go through with that. So you couple that with accumulation data, and then you have perfect recipe for lump sum. Okay, so this turning points, so that is what you'll get from the start, which will be really great for you. So news scanners help you in finding momentum, whether positive or negative, right? Accumulation distribution distract system, it tells you what institutions are doing. Okay, and by the way, one thing I have not said, because we have not put the data that way, but in future we'll do that. We are every day working, every minute, every second we are working to figure out the best way to do the things for our community. Okay, so the next thing that we'll do is we'll get the stack data in sectoral form. Okay, thematic form. Okay, you can say, I don't know, you can call it cluster, because theme is not really right, sector is not really right. We can call it cluster. Okay, so in clusters we'll put the stack data. Okay, and then what you'll do is, let's say market has dropped Friday, right? You'll go to clusters data, distribution accumulation column, just click one, it will sort the data, and it will show you the clusters which are showing highest accumulation. Okay, and that will be really nice to know that not only you know that there is a strong accumulation, so market is about to turn, weak breadth is strong accumulation, but you'll also get to know what kind of stocks are more likely to do better. Okay, understood? And ultimately you'll have to go through market pulse to understand the context, because that will help you how to look at overall and decide. Because see, if it is not a great pitch, you can't hit three sixes in a over. Even the bowler is bad, team's fielding is bad, you know, but you'll not be able to hit three sixes. So you also need a good batting pitch, right? And good batting pitch in our context is market pulse, market environment, right? So news momentum, institutional accumulation, healthy market breadth, these three combinations tell you the recipe for high conviction setups. Okay. What are the resources to refer? If you're new here, lax.sh blog, you can read there, news blog is there. We'll put more. You can go to the YouTube. There you'll find 3 videos are already there. This one we'll put later, so you'll have 4 videos which you can watch, right? And then you have market pulse to look at the data, and news scanners to actually figure out the stocks that you can actually study. Okay. If you have any questions so far, I can take them, and then we'll move to the website and look at the live data.
So you said about the half hour indicator or something, right? Can you just let me understand
So,
what it is?
so let's go to these things one by one. Okay. And please, whenever you are asking question, please mention your name. Why? Because when you mention your name, it actually becomes better that I know who I'm talking to, right? Next time when you are asking, saying something, then please mention your name, and then whatever you want to say. So this is market pulse, right? So this market pulse, you see, we have a lot of data points. FII, DII, net buying, selling, you already understand, right? 200 SMA, whether it is improving or turning bad, right? News green daily, improving or turning bad. This has improved, by the way, 2%. Okay. BNF, upper BNF crossed daily, improved or turned bad. It has turned bad, right? Okay. And news green, you can see here, right? It has been steadily going up, right? Rate of change, net new highs. Okay, net new highs are turned further bad. So there are more stocks which are hitting 52-week lows than the stocks which are hitting new highs. Okay, FII, DII data, you can click here and look at the details. Okay, and you can always click here and get the nice, image. Okay, or click here, get the image in, downloaded form. Okay, you can also look at this thing. You'll see that, what has fallen most: Nifty Metal, PSU Bank, Defense, Auto, Media. Basically, whatever has been doing really great has fallen the most on Friday. That is the simple one line story. Okay, you can look at the 5-year CAGR, right? What has the highest CAGR? 5-year Nifty Mid Cap 150. How much? 18.54, right? This is CAGR. Okay, so don't say that, in 5 year it has given 18.54%. No, 18.54% CAGR. So if you actually want to calculate, it will be 1.1854 raised to the power 5. So 2.34. Matlab 134% absolute return has been given by Nifty Midcap 150. Okay, it has actually more than doubled your money. Okay, Moose analysis, which we were discussing, right? This turned red. Why? Because it has increased by 2, but it is bad number. So it has become red. All these improved. These are positive things and improve further. So green, right? And you can look at historical data here. Although we don't have the chart form for it, we can add it later if this is really useful and you guys really want it. So based on feedback, we can add it. There is no issue. But data you can see. So you see, March 12th, we had only 220 daily crossover, positive crossover. 13th, 279. So it improved. That is why it turned green. Earlier it was 333 on 11th March. And then it deteriorated. That is why it turned red. Okay. Weekly, steadily improving. So green, green, green. Monthly, improving. Green, green, green. Daily, negative crossover. So it had actually turned bad on March 12th. So it turned red. Again, improved. Green, right? So that way you can interpret. Okay. ENF analysis, same way you can do that. This is the Hahakar indicator. Okay. When number of stocks which are below all the SMA, you know, they become huge, like, 60, 70%. That is the time to start looking for what? Not world war, not world is ending, not COVID, not American financial crisis, not, lunacy of Trump, not lunacy of anybody else, not terrorism of anybody, you know. Just forget all the bad news. Start looking for good news and deploy lump sum. That is what we have built in Hahakar. And Hahakar means when these red flames, they start rising very fast, skyscrapers. That is when Hahakar is at max. The last such opportunity came on March 4th. And now you might say that, you know what, since March 4th, market has further gone down. But let me tell you, lump sum is not for 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, right? Generally, what do you understand? Like, what is your expectation for lump sum? Look at this. So let me remove P. Let me remove minimum 1 year, right? Generally 1, 2, 3 years, that is lump sum. Okay. So if you look at this, right? March 4, right? It has not gone down a lot. Okay. So don't think that, you know what, the indicator has gone it wrong. No, indicator has not got it wrong. You have to understand the context, the time frame. You're not supposed to put the money that you are going to use for, paying electricity bill or, tuition fees or, some medical bills. Okay. That is not what you use for lump sum. Lump sum is by definition uncertain. So it has to be medium term, 1, 2 years, that kind of money. Okay. So you see, it's the easiest thing to do. Okay. And every 1, 2 months, 3 months, you'll have such numbers, right? So if you're doing SIP, what can you do better? What can you do better? Let's say you did SIP on this day, February 17th. Were you not better off doing SIP on March 4th instead of February 17th? Of course you were, right? So that's it. And 2, 3 months, it comes, such data, right? So you can do that, right? Then accumulation distribution, legends have not been changed, they'll be changed, Data has been fixed broadly, but I don't know why this part is coming this way. We'll get it fixed also. No? We'll see why, what is happening there. I think in this thing, I'm still thinking, like, should we get rid of this, low activity bar, this gray area, so that these guys can expand and show you more properly what is happening? But then the problem is, you'll not be able to relate how many are total stocks, because the total stocks will tell you the story, right? Like, for example, there is a strong accumulation, but that is accumulation, let's say, has happened on 500 stocks today. Okay. Next day, again a strong accumulation, but the stocks have risen to, let's say, 800. Of course, next day is much better, right? But that you'll know only when, as a percentage, it is shown. But then the representation will become problematic. It can't be area chart. It has to become line chart. Okay, all right. We'll discuss, internally, and then we'll decide what to do with this thing. And the strongest accumulation came on where? March 27 last year. Right? So this will happen, always. You just have to study and use. Rate of change, it generally marks, the bottoms and all. Sometimes it fails, like it failed, here, right? But who knows? Monday, Tuesday, it might again, turn good. Net new highs, if you're a swing trader, you're not supposed to be doing swing trading when this is below zero, right? Below the surface, it is patal lok. You don't try to do swing trading there. This is the same data, it's just that it is net. This is, absolute 52-week highs and 52-week lows. So once you add both, I mean, 52-week low will be negative, of course, then you'll get this one. So, like, they are not really materially different. Okay. You can also use this as extreme, oscillator. So you see, last year, right? When the maximum reading went to -733, that is when we hit the bottom. Although index level bottom happened much later, So index level bottom happened on this day, 7th April. But broader market has already hit the bottom this day, right? Understood. Similarly, we have already said broader market has hit the bottom for India on which day? Which day? Hello? So very easy. It is written there. January 21. It's already bottomed. What you're saying is, because of news based, this and there, but you can't change the destiny of what is going to happen. Okay. Lekin, you can't take leverage there, right? Because leverage, you need confirmation and, things above water. Then only you can do those things. You see again, SMA analysis. This is what you'll see everywhere, everywhere. Okay. It is also here. It's just that it is last, time. These, data points you'll see everywhere. But the thing that you have put here, they'll be copied slowly. The best form of flattery, the best form of flattery is what? Emulation, right? When bigger handles, bigger guys, they start copying you, you have done something great, right? So that is what is going to happen. This Hagar indicator is nowhere. This will be copied few months later. Not right away, right? Take some time. Okay. Any questions so far, whatever we have discussed? So now you can, figure out a stock based on accumulation also. So let's see. Did I say anything specifically that I'll discuss today? If I have said that, please mention. I'll discuss that. Otherwise, I'll just move through websites and show you a few things and then we'll call it a day. What will happen? Fetching stocks.
So,
Okay. You,
Shrikant
you,
here. Um, so you
sorry,
said
I did not get your name.
Shrikant here.
Aji.
Yeah, you said either bottom is made or it will be done in the coming week, right? So, what made you to come to that conclusion? I mean, what data points uh, are you considering to make that statement, sir?
We have discussed market pulse, right? So
Right.
the same data points that I have discussed today is what we have used earlier, is what we have actually already used to explain in Telegram. So if you're part of lax.sh Telegram, you can simply search it. LAXDOTSH, and you just scroll or search there, you'll find a lot of posts that have explained, why we believe the bottom is the okay. When I say bottom, it does not mean index can't fall. Index can very well fall because it is news driven environment. Something comes up bad, index falls, right? But the broader market is done falling. And that you can already see in even net new highs in so many other data points, right?
Mm-hmm.
So based on that. For example, look at this. We have been talking about that accumulation, right? Delivery data, right? But if you look at this, okay, actually there is a problem. This sorting is not working. Okay. Can any of you actually type in, Telegram, the issues that I'm talking that needs to be changed so that later on they are actually recorded and changed. One of them is this thing. Another is distribution information, legends, labels have to be changed and all, right? So look at this. This stock has 100% delivery. That does not mean it is, great buy. Okay. Why? Because it is possible that it is in 5% circuit limit. Okay. So never just go by, delivery percent. Okay. So you can further make it better by saying, let's say, I'm going to look at only top 750 stocks. And of course, those stocks will go out, right? No intraday possible. What do you mean?
Maybe the thing is like some stocks are banned from intraday. There's a saying that you have to
I'm not
watch
able. I'm not able to hear because there is too much echo. So you have to type. I'm not able to understand what you're saying. Still, I can't understand. You have to type because there is echo. So delivery percent, you have to look only in stocks where exchange or broker has not mandated compulsory delivery. Okay. Because when everybody has been asked to bring the best, not best, let's say everybody has been asked to bring the mathematics book today. Okay. Then obviously everybody is going to bring the mathematics book unless somebody has made the mistake that day, right? Then you can't really figure out which student has more interest in mathematics, right? But on a normal day, right, when there is no such diktat that you have to bring the mathematics book, but still four kids have shown up with mathematics book, they have opened it doing something, that shows that these four kids have probably more interest in mathematics than other kids in the class. Okay, the same concept applies here. Yes, yes. So the stocks which don't have intraday possible, you are not supposed to look at their delivery data and all because their delivery is likely to be very. Okay. And another thing you can do is like look at the what are the sectors that are coming up based on delivery. Okay, that we'll do later. Like we'll build all that in lakhs. Okay, so don't worry about it. Now there is accumulation, right? I've selected Nifty total market, but guess what? I can simply ask news, right? Let's say I'm saying, is there news score? Yes. So let's say I picked news score. Okay. What? Okay. No. What is this? News score should be greater than or equal to 3. Okay. The moment I do that, the number of stocks have fallen, right? Now I have only how many stocks? 59. I can easily switch to chart mode and look at the stocks. If I find risk reward good, chart good, I like the business, I like the theme, I like the management, I can buy them, right? If I don't like them, I can move to something else. Because see, LAX is not supposed to tell you buy this, sell that. LAX is supposed to be data analytics platform with high quality strategies, indicators built into it so that you are able to use them based on your own understanding and use case. That's what LAX is for. Look at this thing, ABB. This day or this day, ABB was mentioned by some members in LAX Telegram, right? Anybody remembers it? From there, it has rallied 20%. ABB India. It is a stock part of futures. Okay. Look at this FNO, right? This is circuit limit, right? This is NSE, BSE listed both. This is it is available for margin buying, and Zerodha and Kotak. Okay, 3.94 leverage, 4.41 leverage. Okay, for example, this thing it is being accumulated, right? But you'll have to wait for some reversal, right? So just watch it, put it in watch list. Again, this is also being accumulated, right? This is also being accumulated. But now the difference is this is a pharma company. And if you have already studied, pharma is really defensive sector. It is already doing better than other sectors. So this actually takes precedence over other stocks, right? Based on chart, based on what has happened, based on the theme it is part of, right? Cluster. Ajanta Pharma. The candle is too bad. Ignore it. This one looks nice, but it is possible that it might correct little more because it is little away from daily BNF, right? So once it enters daily BNF, then you can consider this one, right? So add it in watch list, right? Study more, look at the valuation, look at everything else, right? Biocon, again pharma name, right? Bharti Airtel, right? You can put this one also in watch list. Why? Because there are only two players in telecom, Bharti Airtel and Jio. BSNL is practically immaterial. Vodafone Idea is practically immaterial, right? And this one is actually pure play. Why? Because Reliance has so many other things along with Jio. So this one is actually pure play. It's only matter of time that it turns upwards, right? Cummins, really strong stock, right? Which is a whole power theme. CUB has fallen a lot. Niche private sector bank, which you can put in watch list, right? So that you can go through. 20 stocks I have just gone through. Probably I took 3 minutes, right? Because I was talking so much. If I was not talking, it would have been taken probably half of that time, right? 1.5 minutes, right? But it comes with practice. You have to practice. You have to understand so well. You have to spend so much time and effort so that you understand kundli of each stock so that you can just see the name and know what it is, what is the story, and whether you can actually consider or not, right? It takes some time, but it gets easier because it compounds, right? Compounding really works here. The data is loading, right? I can start from bottom.
Sir, Shrikant here again. Can we can we just try to filter for stocks which have just crossed over this news green line?
All right. So that you have to do, go here, okay? The scanner tab, okay? Then you go to news, okay? Although I could have done there also, but that will work only on accumulated stocks, right? Because there is already a filter, right? So I'm going with which has no such filter. So this is only daily crossover. The stocks that had daily crossover, okay? How many stocks are there? 273. When I say stock, I mean I just don't mean a stock, it has ETFs and everything.
Mhm.
But like I said, the nose score has to be 3 or more, right? So I just put that. And the moment I do that, suddenly you'll have only 48 stocks. Now you tell me honestly, how long will it take for you to go through 48 stocks? Output nothing. Only daily news crossover with news score 3 or more. That's it. Nothing else. And it has all the BSE stock, by the way. Don't worry. It is not just NSE. It has all the BSE stocks, all the NSE stocks, ETFs, everything. Okay. And there is no liquidity filter. Like there is filter, but I have not applied. If I apply it, then it will further reduce, right? For example, can I say percent change of today is greater than or equals to, let's say, -2. Okay. So I am saying a stock might have fallen, but it should not have fallen more than 2%. Okay. I could have done something else, right? Plus 2% or whatever, right? I can do so many things. Just look at this. Remos Pharma. We already discussed about pharma, right? It is a smaller pharma name, but the chart is like, okay, okay. So like you'll have to wait for it to consolidate here, then cross the highs of this day, and then you can consider it. Okay. This is a good candidate. Put it in watch list. Okay. What is this Midwest Gold? Pata nahi. I don't know. You can study it. And you will find a lot of new stocks here, right? You'll not know them. But if you study them, you might find some huge multi-bagger. What happened here? What happened here?
But sir, these are not giving the green line crossover, right?
They are giving. You see, there is crossover. Look at the bottom. All of them are green, right? And yesterday was red, right?
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
The green line is not this one. This is like
Got it,
GL,
got it,
okay? This is simple
got
moving average. This is news, okay?
got it, got it.
Cyan Agro. Everybody and their mother was talking about Cyan, na? Here, right? Now nobody is talking. Let me tell you, it is really good business. And you know what? It is not in ethanol business. The revenue that comes from ethanol is actually, I don't know, profits are like less than 2-3% of the company. But everybody actually slammed Nitin Gadkari ji, right? Have you heard it or not? If you're politically little bit exposed, you have seen the bashing that Nitin Gadkari ji received from everybody. Everybody, not even BJP guys, shown any mercy or time to understand. Not even BJP guys. They were also bashing, right wing also bashing Nitin Gadkari ji. The idiots. I mean, really? Why can't you simply open the company and it is a listed business? Why can't you open the quarterly result and annual result and see where they are making money from? Do you know where they are making money from? The biggest money? Do you know that? Anybody knows that? Power. Cyan Agro is making the largest money from which sector? Power. They have thermal power plant owned via subsidiaries. Those power plants, they were earlier owned by somebody else. Those guys went bankrupt. They could not repay the loan and all that. Then those, assets went into NCLT, and that is where Cyan Agro bought them and now brought it under here. So the stock was rallying not because of Nitin Gadkari or ethanol. You have to be like, what? See, if it was because of Nitin Gadkari or ethanol, it should have rallied earlier, na? Ethanol story came when? True ethanol story came when? 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. We have already met all those target, right? Why would ethanol story rally here? Because it was not the ethanol story itself. But it's cheap to actually. So imagine this: all these multi-crore, multi-hundred crores of uh, budget of these IT cells, and they could not get the basic fact right. Imagine this. That is why you should not believe them blindly, even if they are selling you children of, secularism, nationalism, communalism, casteism, whatever children they are selling you. Okay, don't buy it. These guys are frankly idiots. Don't believe them. Do your own research, and this is a proof. And I can tell you 10 other things where they have been, absolutely wrong, but they talk confidently. Okay, so don't fall for these guys. only when somebody starts talking about a field which you already understand, you realize how dumb they are. Because when they are talking about something which you don't understand, you'll not be able to judge them, right? Whether they are smart, dumb, right? But when you see them in your field talking, then you'll be like, Arey, this is absolutely rubbish. This can't be true, right? By the way, when you will open the website on your platform, it will not be this slow, okay? This slow because of laptop issues and we are live and recording and everything. Shally Engineering Plastic. You tell me what is the story behind the stock? Anybody who can type this? Technivision. Okay, this is a really interesting software company which has Solix platform for drug discovery using AI and all that. Okay. Shally Engineering Plastics, I'll tell you briefly. It is a pen manufacturer. Okay. Pen for what? Injectors. GLP-1 drugs. You have heard, right? Semaglutide. So all of these guys are coming next 1 week. They'll come up with the off patent generic drugs. Okay, the prices will crash big time. More people will be injecting with this chemical unnecessarily, and they'll be suffering later on. So don't do that unless you have doctor's advice. Even don't believe doctor's advice because they don't have clue also. Why? Because these doctors have not studied these things. These are new molecules, right? New chemicals. Someone who has done MBBS 10 years ago, how does that person understand the new medicine? He does not, right? He just got the recommendation to do it. He is doing it. SOPs, right? The standard operating procedure. Don't believe them. Okay. Study. Do your own research. But if you still have, really acute issues and chronic issues, right? Really high weight and diabetes and all that, consult your doctor. Then you might have better, reward using the drug. Otherwise, don't use. Okay. But anyway, Word is going to use it. More pens will be selling. Shally will benefit a lot. Okay. So I told you this one, I told you this one, right? But you still have to do your own research and find the entry and exit and how much to allocate and not, right? China's group, they have been delivering good numbers, but right now, like below GL, it is not really that great. Get it? Tata Consumer Product, Nomex Auto. Okay, this looks nice because they've been growing well. Auto ancillary, at GL, green candle. Okay, so if there is some little more bounce, probably this will be good opportunity because see, you are getting the prices of this thing which were earlier many months back, and in between they have reported really great numbers. So the valuation have compressed. Okay, so that way it is really great, right? Yes, we do have stage 2 filter also. There is no way to filter the fake crossover because you'll only know it is fake or genuine later on, right? Just like when Sachin and Kamli came into scene, there was no way to say Kamli will fail, right? It's only later we got to know that Kamli has failed. That is how it is. Is that who is cutting the losses early, right? Yes, delivery percent can help in some extent, but at the end of the day, it will still be probability game. Okay, so you can use it. It will help in some extent, but you'll still have to have some failure that you have to manage. By the way, I was talking about Lumex, right? And we have really revamped everything. So yes, Auropharma, Celan name has changed. Entolopus, it has become Lumex, right? You see the valuation. Okay, what is the PE? We don't have PE here. I don't know why. It should be yes. Anyway, I can show you PE here also. What is the PE? 39, right? What was the PE earlier? September quarter? 56.6, right? So P has gone down a lot, right? And look at this, 40% year-on-year revenue growth, 10% quarter-on-quarter growth. And before that, 37% year-on-year growth, right? And look at the EPS growth, 84%, PAT, 101%. Last quarter, 56%, right? So really good growth. Valuation have become better, right? And you can go through the page they have designed. You can give the feedback that we can move something, do better, whatever, right? You can give us the pointers and we'll understand. and if we find it reasonable, we'll implement it. Okay. And you see, the free float of the stock is how much? Only 18%. So even though market cap is 10,000 crore, but tradable free float is how much? 2,000 crore, less than 2,000 crore, right? So it is traded, like volume is above average, delivery is 37, 38%, so not really huge, right? When market rebounds, typically large stocks move first, so maybe first 250 stocks, can be considered. You can do it, but let me tell you something. It is not true. Okay. It is not true that large cap stocks actually move first. Not true. In fact, you will find, l- let's say this, or anything, like, see, it's very hard to say. Okay. For example, let's say Reliance Power, okay, or JP Power, okay. Those stocks did, really great right after COVID, right? So, like, it's complicated, okay? These simple things that we normally apply, they don't work. That is why we have to go through data. No? So, like, to say that top 250 names we should study or not, you should look at the data. Okay. So you can do that by looking at, let's say, RSS score. Okay. Or look at the index, right? From there you can decide. Okay. So what I'm saying, I'm not saying you are right or wrong. I'm saying you should look at the data and take the call, because this concept keeps changing. Okay. Whether large caps will move first or a small cap or whatever, right? It keeps changing. So you can't have one, straight rule. You have to go with the data. That is what I'm saying. Anybody has any question regarding, what you're seeing right now? I can explain if you have any question. Otherwise, it's fine. I can zoom in a little bit so that you'll be able to read it more clearly. With RSS score and news, fundamentals need to be combined and valuation. I don't understand. Like, are you asking that they should be combined, or are you saying that when they have to be combined and when you have to combine, they become tough? Like, it is tough to combine. Like, I don't understand the question. Which of the two it is? 'Cause you can say that it is tough to come to conclusion, but I'll say something else. Whenever you are, getting confused and there is, hard to, like, there is fog of war. So, like, the simple thing is just go back to the basics. Okay. Imagine this. Nifty 50. It has nothing. What does it do? It just look at the size. Free float market cap. 6 months में एक बार. Still it has delivered 10% plus return, right? Long term. So even if you just include news, RSS code, you'll start doing much better. Why? Because you're not looking at the size, you're looking at the pure momentum, right? So it is better, right? Then you add some fundamental. So, like, see, if you start becoming too strict about fundamental or valuation, then it becomes difficult. Okay. So it is better to rely on the stage of the stock. Okay. News has turned green monthly recently. Then it is better signal, right? So even though valuation might look high, but it is because, fundamentals which are going to be good, they have not come yet. They'll come in next few quarters, and then you'll be like, okay, the valuations have now become lower. I'll show you. It has happened actually. Trend 2023 valuations were not cheap. In fact, right now they are cheaper. Okay. But we don't have PE here. We'll get this fixed. Okay. So let me see, how do I look at the PE? We don't have PE here. Okay. So that means I'll have to go to screener. And in a screener, I can look at trend, right? So the point is, Don't become too much focused on valuation or fundamental alone, because ultimately you'll make money or lose money based on what? Price, right? News, right? Focus on news. You can still look at fundamental valuation, but they cannot be your primary criteria or deciding criteria. The deciding criteria has to be what? News and RSS. Just look at this. What was the P? 112. But what was the EPS? 11. Right now, what is the EPS? Look at it. 40. P is what? 83. Okay. So that is what you have to understand. Okay. So don't look at things in isolation. And plus, let me tell you another thing. It takes hell a lot of time to truly understand what is going on, what suits you, and how do you implement it. Okay. So if you're confused right now, it's okay. It takes years. A lot of people actually change their mind 15 years later, 20 years later. Okay. That, okay, this is also useful. It is actually better. Okay. At stage two valuation, you can do a lot of things. Let me see. Although we don't have, fundamental valuation wala data here for, other time periods. So I'll not be able to show much. I can't say it is a stage two stock. It is not a stage two stock, right? Although I can still say it is in accumulation. Okay. You see? Look at this chart. Can you just look at this chart and say it is under accumulation or not? Anybody who has issues with it? If you can say yes, accumulation, please type yes, accumulation. It is under accumulation, right? But DNF entry will trigger when? When, when it crosses this high, okay? Now the problem is the green arrow was there, but now red arrow has come. But the good news is month is not still done, right? So it is possible in this month again, this red arrow goes away, right? If red arrow remains here, then you'll have to wait for green arrow. But let me tell you something. Forget all that. Mark the high of this candle. That is your trigger point for entry. Okay. That will be first entry, DNF entry. Second will be when this guy turns green. This time frame में first. Weekly it has already turned green. So you'll have to wait for monthly green, right? At some point in time in future, it will turn green. So two signals. Right now it has fallen a lot. Why? Because it is in what business? Ceramic tiles. In tiles, it is a heavy energy business or low energy business. What kind of business it is? It takes a lot of energy or not?
Yes.
It takes a lot of energy, right? So obviously, when there is war and energy prices are going up, in fact, there is shortage of energy also. Such businesses hurt, right? That is why it has fallen little more than what it should have, right? It's okay. The war is not going to continue for ever, right? The energy prices are not going to remain high forever, right? Because if they remain forever high, then there are much bigger problems, and then they'll figure out some other solutions, right? And valuation, you tell me, do you think this business will have better balance sheet and higher sales compared to 2017 or not? I've not shown you data. I'm just asking you a question. Do you believe it will have higher sales compared to here or not? Or here or not today?
Yes.
Yes, right? Which means the valuations have become cheaper or not compared to the highs. Now you might say that they were from highs. I'm just giving you one point, right? You can do more, but I'm just giving you some thoughts to think, right? Just go to PNL, okay? Always start with balance sheet, not PNL, okay? If you're a really serious investor, you must start with the balance sheet, okay? Just look at this, Dana. You'll see borrowings, right? Long-term borrowings, 100 crore, right? 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 24 crore, right? Again, 24. Like, not huge, right? But look at this thing. Balance sheet size has remained similar, so there is not much to say. So I'll not say anything because there's not much to say. Look at the P&L, okay? Sales 500 crore, right? 655, right? 675. In fact, it is flat. The margins have actually dipped. Okay. So the business has been flat, So like really bad time. Okay. So the hope is it will turn good from here. But the hope might not materialize. That is why you have transcripts, PPT. recording, and rating update. Read them, go through, okay? And you'll then find whether valuations are good or not. PEG is not really great idea. You know, a lot of people were looking at PEG, then what happened? A lot of SME companies were trading at zero point 0.2 PEG, right? 0.5 PEG, right? Right now they're trading where? Half of that prices. Why? Right? Why? Because see, the problem with PEG is what kind of growth you are taking in. Growth of next quarter, next year, next 3 years, next 5 years, next 10 years. What growth you are taking? You tell me. So if you have some reliable way to estimate growth of let's say 5 year or 10 year, and then you are using that growth in the denominator, then calculating PEG, then I'll say yes. But most guys who talk about PEG, they take the growth of next year or next quarter, right? I mean that is ridiculous, right? Don't look at PEG, right? That way. No, no, no. The problem with the screener is it is looking backwards. Let's say last 5 years PEG, you are looking at solar stock, okay? It will show low PEG, right? Why? Because high growth has been there. But do you believe the same kind of high growth will continue for next 5 years for solar stocks, solar businesses? What is the answer? So you think the same kind of solar businesses growth will come next 5 years? No, right? And how can you use the past? It's like 20 over match is there. 18 overs, somebody has scored 130 runs already, and then you are saying that since he's playing so well, I can say that he'll do great, and so what? There are only 2 overs left, right? 18 overs he has already played. Team has already played 18 overs. There are only 2 overs left, right? And in next match, nobody knows, right? Although some people believe that there will be continuation of the momentum and the form, but nobody knows truly, right? New match is a new match. You're only good as your current match, right? Current innings. That is how it is. All right. Any question about lags, how to use or anything like that? Please feel free. Otherwise, I'll close this in next 2 minutes. And we have really nice features. Okay, you can just go to watch list. Okay, you can click on insider also, right? Dekho, insider is buying already there, right? So connect with lax, Rajesh Joseph ji, you might already have heard his name. Value pick naam se, he has the handle. He has shared his SMA stocks. Okay, so all those SMA stocks we added and shared. Okay, these are the SMA stocks that he has added. But look at this. These SMA stocks also, no matter who has picked, no matter how great they will make money only when RS becomes better and news turns green. Only two stocks have news really great. Preshara, Saccharine, right? Saccharine वाला कुछ company होगा या तो ये Dizasan ये तो this is in explosives, okay? CFF Fluid, okay? So proxy of shipbuilding, okay? Chata Foods, it is in meat and all that. Okay, Megathon, it's a really good business induction and all, and then moving towards transformer. But guess what? And numbers are saying that it is bad right now. That is how it is. Okay. So you can really use it that way. Plus, we also have added portfolio section. You can upload your portfolio and then see a lot of really interesting inside there. And always go with the data. It works for ETF as good as the stocks, both. Anything else? And you'll have to spend some time. Unless you spend some time, you'll not be able to familiarize yourself. Okay, like you have to make lax your home. It should start feeling like home. It will start feeling like home only when daily you spend 1 hour. Then you'll understand truly the power of it. Like look at this. Let's go to bot. See, so 154 deals, 277 crores worth buying in last 5 trading days. Okay. You want to see the selling? sold 1346 crore. Now you might be like, okay, the selling is much bigger, but there might be some, really huge, you know, yeah, look at this. Okay. So ignore this. Okay. It is because of that one selling, data is cool. So you can just there are so many ways to read the data, right? Get the idea initiation. But then the ultimate analysis is same always. You'll have to do the same fundamental technical valuation, RSS code, news, DNF analysis. Always. Idea might come from anywhere. Your brother-in-law might share this with you, or sister-in-law might share this with you, or Padosi might share this with you, or somebody when you're traveling meets you, stranger, he might share this with you, or somebody from Twitter, Telegram, YouTube, WhatsApp, or somebody you have paid 3 lakhs a year, he might share. But ultimately, it has to go through the same process. Otherwise, don't believe it. Because ultimately, if something has to make money, it has to go up. And not only it has to go up, it has to beat the market. That means news has to become positive, green, and RSS score has to improve. There are only two ways, right? There is no other way. At the DNF, you have all the word in these three concepts: DNF, news, RS. That's it. RS score. I mean. Another thing you can do is, let's say GSL you see, right? Type GSL. It comes only once. So last 5 days, GSL has seen buying only once, right? Let's say MSPL, okay? Type it. Last 3 days, how many times MSPL has seen the buying from promoter? How many days? 3, right? 9 and twice on 11. I'm not really sure whether it is actually repeating because the quantities are same. We'll have to check it back, okay? But how much they are bought? Let's say forget about this one, okay? Let's just consider these two. 8.69, 5.64. How many crores? 8, 5, 13. Okay. So 14.3 crore, right? What is the size of the company? Promoter has bought 14 crore plus in 2 days. Okay. What is the size of the company? 758 crore. What is the free float? 21.3%. 758 crore company. So 14 crore is how much? Little less than 1%, right? So little less than, so there is only 21% float. Promoter has already bought 1% in last 5 days. That tells you what? Look at this. If you look at 5th March, again they have bought. 9th March, again they have bought. We can show more data. Future will, figure this out, how to show it better. Okay. Look at this. Now, I'm not saying you are going to buy this. That is your call. You have to study your own money, right? But look at RSS score. Look at news. Okay. Look at everything. This is a small company. Now you tell me, have you heard anybody talking about MSP, steel, and power? Have you heard anybody talking about MSP, steel, and power? Anywhere? Social media, Twitter, Telegram, YouTube, paid service, whatever. Anywhere you have seen it. Why did I come here? I come here to see. Okay, these guys are saying you have to log in. I don't want to log in. Is there any way I can see? From here I can see, right? So what is going on? They are not reporting properly. This one I have already opened. This one I can. Okay. This one is just like too old. Okay. Not one something. Not too old, but still old. So where are these guys reporting? I think this one itself should have data. 6393. You can't see. Okay. But broad point is what? That they're buying. They're buying big compared to their market cap, right? And the float is reducing pretty fast. That is the broad point. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for giving your time on Sunday evening. And hopefully the war in Iran end. It will end only when US pulls back without any conditions and says, "Thank you so much. We have won, and this was the greatest war that America has fought," and blah blah. And that is the only way it will end. And even if it does not end that way, it will be bad for humanity. But world will figure out how to live with it, just like we have figured out how to live with Ukraine, Russia, meat grinder, right? Every day people are getting killed in Ukraine, right? But we have learned to live, right? So that is what is going to happen with Iran also. Although Iran is much bigger issue in the sense that it will not remain localized for long because it has a lot of vital choke points, right? Economic choke points, Strait of Hormuz, and so many other things are there also, right? For example, Iran can attack the ports in UAE, and those ports are actually responsible for more than 10% of global crude oil loading and unloading. So imagine that, right? So all those options are there, right? That can make things bad. So that is how it is. Okay. So a desalination plant, crude, gas, infra, right? So many things are there, right? There's so many things to like disturb. So all those things are there. Keep yourself safe, and if you have somebody who is known and is there in West Asia, uh, keep looking after their well-being. Thank you so much, and with that thought, we'll end the session today right here. Okay, and we'll meet next month, 15th April, same time, 8:30. Okay. All right. So with that, I'm taking your leave, and we'll meet next month. Till then, please keep connected with the Telegram and YouTube and Twitter.